Hey everybody, it's Nathaniel Avila reporting from Dallas County, and I'm here with Jessica Vega from San Antonio. How are you doing with your gamer chair?
Hello. I am in a chair that it's not broken. My other chair was broken, so
Okay,
this is a borrowed chair.
a borrowed gamer chair.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we? What is this podcast about?
This is a true crime podcast. We talk about all things true crime. All sorts of true crime stuffs.
More like fart crime.
So funny.
Thank you. I was thinking about that. So, all right. So, what topic are we doing today?
Today we're doing disappearances, right?
Right.
Disappearances and anything else?
No, just disappearances. This is going to be our second episode regarding disappearances. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Uh, so let's get started. I came across this one case, which is the case that I kind of wanted to do this entire topic on, which is the case of Michael Clark Rockefeller.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. How do you know anything about this case?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, he was the fifth child of New York governor and future U.S. Vice President Nelson Rockefeller, and a fourth generation member of the Rockefeller family. So this guy, he's got the muns.
Okay.
So he's from an elite family. You ever heard of 30 Rock?
The show?
Well, yeah, the show, but the show is take that it's named after the location that it takes place in.
Ooh. Okay.
It takes 30 Rockefeller Plaza, and it's named after this guy's family. That's how big this guy was.
Oh, I see. I see. Rockefeller Plaza, New York, the whole big shebang, big
Oh yeah,
Christmas tree, all that.
yeah. With
Oh,
the
so this, okay.
yeah
That's
with
how big the name is. Okay.
yeah, he there with the ice rink and the
I
NBC
want to
tower and
go.
all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah,
I want to go one of
I
these days. Nathaniel, do you want to go?
yeah I would love to go to New York City, but only in the
That'd be
summer.
amazing.
Only in the summer.
I want to go in the
Not the
winter
winter.
because I
It's
want to see all
cold.
the cool
I hate the cold.
Christmas decoration stuff.
I don't want to go in the cold. It's too cold.
Okay, let's go. It's back.
Okay, so Rockefeller, who was the fifth and last child of Mary Todd Hunter Rockefeller and Nelson Rockefeller, and he was the third son of seven children fathered by Nelson Rockefeller, and he had a twin sister named Mary. So, after attending the Buckley School in New York and graduating from the Phillips Exeter Academy in New Hampshire, where he was a student senator and exceptional varsity wrestler. Rockefeller graduated cum laude in Harvard University with a BA in history and economics. And in 1960, he served for 6 months as a private in the U.S. Army, and then went on an expedition for Harvard's Peabody Museum of Peabody Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology to study the Dani tribe of Western Netherlands, New Guinea. So the expedition filmed Dead Birds, an ethnographic documentary movie produced by Robert Gardner, and for which Rockefeller was the sound recordist. So Rockefeller and a friend briefly left the expedition to study the Asmat tribe of the southern Netherlands, New Guinea, after returning home from the Peabody expedition. So Rockefeller returned to New Guinea to study the Asmat and collect Asmat art. So he's going to these very remote areas just to like
Okay.
study these indigenous people and how they do things and how they work and how they operate. So what do you think
Okay.
about that?
Well, so far so good. I mean, he's venturing out.
Like what do you think about like a guy who's like probably lived a life of luxury, but then again, then dedicated himself to like studying like these indigenous peoples and putting himself in like this really remote, rugged environment.
I kind of feel like a lot of people that come from wealth tend to go. the complete opposite direction of what they're used to. They're used to getting handed everything, and they don't they want to experience life without all of that.
Mm.
And then they go to this route or something close to this route where they just totally disconnect from that kind of lifestyle.
Mm.
But I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying like that's what I've noticed with a lot of people that come from luxury in life that just they can just get whatever they want is they want to see what's on the other side of the field.
There's also like a kind of like a discrepancy between new money and old money. Also,
Yeah, yeah. So what this is old money. He was born
he's old
into it.
money. He's old money.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be different if you went through the hard stuff and then you become into new money. You already went through all the hard stuff, so.
Mm-hmm. What I probably understand that new money basically puts their money into material things in order to show others that they have money, while
Mhm.
old money puts their money into like things like education and experiences because
Mhm.
they already have the money. Like money doesn't really mean anything to them. Material things doesn't really impact them as much as new money people do.
Yeah.
Um,
Makes sense.
so they would try to like do more things with the things that like they have. So there's also you can like
I
read.
mean,
Hmm?
yeah, I mean that makes sense. I mean, people that come like okay, say for instance if it was me, if I won the lottery, if I won the lottery, I'm not saying that I would buy luxury cars and try to show off, but I would spend that money like crazy to take care of things that I needed to take care of with my family and my immediate family, you know, buying things really fast because people that tend to come from money are born into it. It doesn't have an end game. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you come into like lottery money, there's an end. Like yeah, there's a beginning and an end. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
end. So do what you gotta do while you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can invest and be smart about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's another thing. But so yeah, like they'll have like this bottomless card that they can just use it to go wherever they want, and they would just use the experiences that the money brings them in order to like fulfill themselves, uh, that way.
Yeah.
Um, Also, if you win the lottery, one you will be taxed a lot,
Yeah, and so there
and
goes like a big chunk of it already gone.
mm-hmm. And then second of all, you will probably just get $20,000 for like 20 years. That's it.
Or you can take the cash option. I don't know
I
what
don't
that
think
means,
I don't
but
think you'll get it all at once.
I have no idea. It'll never happen.
Oh yeah,
I
you'll
don't
have
ever play, so it can't ever happen.
yeah. You have more. It's more likely that you would win. You would get struck by lightning twice than win the lottery.
Probably.
Yeah. So okay. So this is the thing that he said. So it is a desire to do something adventurous, at a time when frontiers in the real sense of the world are disappearing. So that's him describing why he's doing these things because he wants to
Mm.
be adventurous. So he spent his times in the Netherlands, New Guinea, actively engaged with the culture and the art while recording ethnographic data. In one of his letters home, he wrote, I am having a thoroughly exhausting but most exciting time here. The Asmat is like a huge puzzle with the variations in ceremony and art style forming the pieces. My trips are enabling me to comprehend, if only in superficial, rudimentary manner, the nature of this puzzle. So that's what he's saying. He's enjoying his experience. But
Okay.
on December 17th, 1961, Rockefeller and Dutch anthropologist Rene Wessing were in a 40-foot dugout canoe about 3 miles from the shore when their double pontoon boat was swamped and overturned. Their two local guides swam for help, but it was slow in coming. After drifting for some time, early on November 19th, Rockefeller said to Wessing, I think I can make it, and swam for shore. The boat was estimated 12 miles from the shore when he made the attempt to swim to safety, supporting the theory that he died from exposure exhaustion, and or drowning. So, yeah. So, Wassing was rescued the next day, while Rockefeller was never seen again. Des- Despite an extensive and lengthy search effort, at the time, Rockefeller's disappearance was a major world news item. His body was never found, and he was declared legally dead in 1964, like 3 years after.
Shark bait.
You think he was killed? I don't think there was any sharks in the water. So he tried to swim to shore, but the shore was like 12 miles away. Imagine trying to swim 12 miles.
Just trying to stay afloat for some odd amount of time is tiring and exhausting. How long? I wonder how long it took. Oh, the other guy was rescued, right?
The other guy was rescued the next day.
The next day? From the boat?
I'm not sure.
It doesn't say.
Yeah. So, yeah, people just think he died in that part. So yeah, so he was never seen again. Huh?
Maybe he did.
He made it to shore. He swam the 12
miles.
Maybe
he did die.
That's probably most likely, but there's no body. They never found the body, and they really looked for him because he was a rich guy. And you know rich people.
Exposure from what though? Like, was something in the water?
Maybe. I mean, I don't think it was clean water. Because it said
that he may have died from drowning, or exposure,
or exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
Or a combination of the three.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it is believed
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it is believed that Rockefeller either died or was attacked by a shark or a saltwater crocodile. So as headhunting and cannibalism were still present at the time as in some areas of Asmat in 1961, it was also been speculated that Rockefeller may have been killed and eaten by Asmat tribespeople. So, it's no good way to go. Either way.
Something ate him. Either way, it was a shark or a fish or a person or an animal. Mm-hmm. They're saying he may have gotten eaten.
Yeah. So in 1969, give me some.
Shut up.
That was good. The journalist Milt Machlin traveled to the island to investigate Rockefeller's disappearance. He dismissed reports of Rockefeller living as a captive or as Kurtz-like figure in the jungle, but concluded that circumstantial evidence supported the idea that he had been killed. Several leaders of Oostgenept village, where Rockefeller likely would have arrived when he made it to shore, had supposedly been killed by a Dutch patrol in 1958, thus providing some rationale for revenge by the tribe against someone from the white tribe. Mm-hmm. So neither cannibalism nor headhunting in Asmat were indiscriminate, but rather were a part of a tit-for-tat revenge cycle. So it is possible that Rockefeller found himself the inadvertent victim of such a cycle. So the incident is described in Dance of the Warriors, the second volume of the documentary series Ring of Fire by the Blair Brothers. So, a book titled Rocky Goes West by author Paul Tuohy claims that in 1979, Rockefeller's mother hired a private investigator to go to New Guinea and try to resolve the mystery of his disappearance. The reliability of the story has been questioned, but Tuohy claims that the private investigator swapped a boat engine for the skulls of the three men that a tribe claimed were only white men they had ever killed. So the investigator returned to New York and handed these skulls to the family, convinced that one of them was the skull of Rockefeller. If this event did actually occur, the family has never commented on it. However, the History Channel program Vanishings reported that Rockefeller's mother did pay $250,000 reward to the investigator, which was offered for final proof whether or not Michael Rockefeller was alive or dead.
Whoa. That's
So,
that's a lot.
what
That's crazy.
are you thinking? You
I
think
don't know.
you
I
think
wonder when did this happen? When did they get the skull?
it was in 1979.
So even then, maybe DNA really wasn't around then. Maybe the teeth thing. I don't
The
know.
dental thing?
Yeah, for them to be able to prove that it was him. Hmm.
Yeah,
There's
but
not really any other way.
then why else would the mom pay $250,000 to the investigator?
I don't know. I don't know.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? So in
I
the
mean, people can be shady
hmm
just to get paid money.
hmm So in the documentary film "Keep the River on Your Right," Tobias Schneebaum states that he spoke with Aztec cannibals who described finding Rockefeller on the riverside and eating him.
Ooh,
So that's
I
that's
mean,
huh?
well,
You think that's it? You think the problem
all
solved?
right. Signed, sealed. They
You
done did it. They chopped him up. Steak dinner.
okay?
Rockefeller for dinner.
Okay. In
That
2014,
sucks.
in 2014, Carl Hoffman published a book, Savage Harvest, where he discusses researching Rockefeller's mysterious disappearance and presumed death. During multiple visits to the villages in the area, he heard several stories about men from Oshchenep killing Rockefeller after he swam to shore. The stories, which were similar to testimonials collected in the 1960s, center around a handful of men arguing and eventually deciding to kill Michael after he swam to shore in revenge for a 1958 incident in which men from the village were killed in confrontation with Dutch colonial officials. Soon after the murders, the villages were swept by by a cholera epidemic, and the villagers believed that it was retribution for killing Rockefeller. So as Hoffman left one of the villages for the final time, he witnesses a man acting out a scene wherein someone was killed and stopped to tape it. When translated, the man was quoted saying, "Don't you tell this story to any other man or any other village because the story is only for us. Don't speak, and tell the story. I hope you remember it, and you must keep this for us. I hope this is for you and you only. Don't talk to anyone forever," and blah 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 blah, and kind of keeps on going like that.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
So what do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. It's just.
Well,
I don't
they're
know.
saying they killed him and ate him. They
Hmm.
they said they killed him, ate him as a retribution for an incident with a Dutch colony.
I wonder if they even recognized who he was. I mean, this was an accident, right? And he fell. Or not fell. He attempted to swim.
Yeah, he attempted to swim to shore,
I
and
just feel like if they're cannibals and they find that's like their food just came up to shore.
okay.
I don't know. I don't know that they targeted him.
I don't think they targeted him. Like they didn't target Rockefeller. They targeted a white person. They just saw a white
And
person.
he just so happened to be the dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, and then they said afterwards a cholera breakout hit, and they thought it was because they killed Rockefeller.
Mm. Hmm.
What?
Ah,
What? You're not buying it?
I don't know. I mean, it sounds. I mean, it sounds like it could have happened,
Mm.
but I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
lot of like, I don't know. It's like this is something that might have happened, but
Mm. So many of the Asmat artifacts Rockefeller collected are part of the Michael C. Rockefeller Wing Collection in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. The Peabody Museum has published a catalog of an exhibition of pictures taken by Rockefeller during the New Guinea exhibition, so you guys can like check that out next time you're in New York City. Um, so So, in 1973, National Lampoon Comics contained a story titled New Guinea Pig that focused on Rockefeller's disappearance as being a ruse so he can kill all the black people in New Guinea and his family could steal their resources.
In the world?
Yeah, that's a Lampoon comic. It's a National Lampoon comic. What do you expect? It's a
Why
joke.
is everybody gotta make everything about race?
It's a joke.
Come
Can't take a
on.
joke. So, I don't know. It's not cool. It was in
That's
1973.
not even a good joke.
Yeah. So Rockefeller's disappearance was the subject of episode 30 of In Search of, which originally aired in January 21st, 1978. The band Guadalcanal Diary wrote a song about Rockefeller's disappearance called Michael Rockefeller, and the song appeared in their 1986 album Jamboree. So also in the travel adventure book Ring of Fire, the Blair brothers claim to have discussed Rockefeller's death with a tribesman who killed him. So that's another thing. Christopher Stokes' short story The Man Who Ate Michael Rockefeller, published in the 23rd issue of McSweeney's Quarterly Concern, presents a fictional account of young Michael's demise. So that's another thing. The 2004 novel King of America by Samantha Gillison is loosely based on the life of Michael Rockefeller, so you guys can check that out. The 2007 film Welcome to the Jungle deals with two couples who venture after Michael Rockefeller, thinking that they can make a lot of money if they find evidence of Rockefeller, but met grisly demise. Ooh. You want to check that one out?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Jeff Cohen's play, The Man Who Ate Michael Rockefeller, based on the short story by Christopher Stokes that I just mentioned earlier, had its world premiere on an off-Broadway production at the West End Theater in New York. The play was directed by Alfred Presser and ran from September 10th to October 3rd, 2010. In 2011, Agamemnon Films released a documentary titled The Search for Michael Rockefeller, based on a journalist Milt Macklin's book of the same name released in 1974. In this book, Carl Hoffman characterized Macklin's early book as mostly the tale of a wild goose chase, but still important in laying in the groundwork for questioning official stories of Rockefeller's disappearance. The film introduces a third theory that Rockefeller survived and was living among the locals. This theory is supported by a verbal claim of contact made by a mysterious Australian adventurer, plus a few frames of film footage showing a bearded white man among indigenous men wearing local garb. So what do you think?
Also, another possibility. That's crazy, but hey, anything's possible.
Well, it's possible that he probably did that. Plus, we have this film footage also of just this.
Well, I haven't seen that, but I mean, based on the history, like he was trying to get like all the knowledge and all that stuff about Native Americans.
Oh, indigenous peoples. I don't think they were Native Americans.
Indigenous. Sorry about that.
Yeah, they were from Papua New Guinea, which is in Indonesia. So.
Okay.
So in 2012, Michael's surviving twin sister, Mary, published a memoir titled Beginning with the End, about coping with her grief after the death of her brother. And the book was issued in paperback in 2014 as When Grief Calls Forth the Healing. So if you want to see how that affected his twin sister, you guys can check that out. And their 2013 album, The Devil Herself, band Megan Jean and the KFB features the song Tobias, which features the lyrics, "We lived amongst the tribe that ate Rockefeller. Out in Papua New Guinea, I'd give you the skinny. Get eaten if I tell ya." So
Nice.
that's ending the story of Michael Rockefeller.
Get eaten if I tell you.
Okay. I'm glad you like that one. Okay, so what do you think? Is he dead? Is he alive? Or he's probably, if he was alive, he'd probably be dead by now. But did he live at that point?
I'd like to think that he went off to live with the tribes, the indigenous people.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think that he went that route and
Yeah,
just stayed
probably.
there.
But that's assuming that he was able to swim 12 miles
Mm-hmm.
and avoid being eaten by a crocodile or a shark,
Mm-hmm.
and not be and also not drown, and also not die of exhaustion or any exposure of bacteria within the water. So there's a lot of factors that you would have to get past in order to get to that point. So,
Yeah, but
and
I want
then,
to believe he did.
mm-hmm,
I don't know. He probably got eaten up, but you know what? Not to me.
not to
He's
you.
with the. Nah, he was with the tribes.
He's living with the tribes.
He
It
was
is possible
until
that they might
died.
have. I don't know. They're also saying that the people of the Asmat tribes basically saying, "Yeah, we ate him," in retribution for another incident that happened a couple of
Mm-hmm.
years earlier. So that's also another thing. But we'll never know.
We
That's
will never know.
that's the thing about the mystery. That's why this is an unsolved mystery. All right, your turn. What do you got for us?
Okay,
Tell me,
so
and
my
I'll.
stories are gonna be kind of short because there isn't a whole lot of info on them. These people are still missing, but my first case is gonna be about Gabriel Johnson.
Yep.
Gabriel Johnson is a baby. Well, he was a baby when he went missing. So I pulled this stuff from an article. I'll send Nathaniel the link for the article to reference. But this is where it starts off. It says the case had all the ingredients to make it a national news sensation. An adorable 8-month-old baby boy, an attractive mother, then 25, who wanted a new life, a photogenic father, then 27, who just wanted his son. A custody battle, a damning text from her to him admitting murder, a different story to investigators. A mystery adoption at a park 2 states away, a middle aged Valley couple that offered to give baby Gabriel a home, but were seen by authorities as meddling, another tangled custody claim. So, so the last time, McQuarrie is the dad, the father of the little boy. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm going to call him in this article. So the last time McQuarrie saw his son was December 2009. Then he and Johnson, which is the mother, had an argument, and she left their home and she took Gabriel and fled to Florida. So 2 days after Christmas, Johnson texts McQuarrie, "I killed him. You made me do it." She described suffocating the baby and dumping him in the trash. But after her arrest, she changed her story. Now she said she had given Gabriel to a couple in a park in San Antonio. Johnson never identified the pair and never veered from that story. So investigators there searched dumpsters, landfills, parks, but to no avail. I remember when they were going through the landfills because she had said that she dumped them in a dumpster, and then they had to retrace like where that particular dumpster would have dumped in the landfill, but because it had been like they had to get it out of her like what dumpster she took it to. It had been days, like days had gone by, so they went and they weren't able to find anything.
Mm-hmm.
Along the way, Tammy Smith of Scottsdale emerged with the story that she'd met Johnson in an airport 6 months before baby Gabriel's disappearance and asked her if she wanted to put Gabriel up for adoption.
What's going on?
Oh, shut up.
Who are you talking to?
Who else?
I don't know. You live with like four different people.
The dudes. Okay,
Okay, so
so
right now I'm kind of leaning more towards that she killed the baby, because
okay.
why else would she say that? Or maybe she just wanted to say that in order to just like provoke a reaction from her husband. or the father. But then again, if
Yeah.
she really did give it to some random couple, and the couple would have saw that on the news, and then realized that the baby that they had was stolen, wouldn't they give it back? Give the kid back? Give the baby back?
These are all good questions. But let me keep reading to see if this
Okay.
answers a little bit of your
Yeah.
questions.
Oh, before we go, have you seen the movie Shazam?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's a superhero movie. That takes place in it's a
Oh,
DC
yeah,
film.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I have not seen it,
Oh,
but yeah, Shazam.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's actually a really
have
good
not.
movie, but in the movie, Shazam, the kid, gets separated from his mom at a carnival, and then he never sees her again. He gets into the foster system after that. Apparently, he
What?
comes in and then he basically dedicates his life trying to find his mom again, and then he finally finds her, and then she's like, whatever.
She's like, damn it.
I don't know. I just can't imagine a mother doing that.
I can't either. But I mean, not all women are. Not all of them get the mother instinct when they have kids. A lot of women just don't. And I'm not saying that's okay. It's weird for me to think that that's the case, but it is the case. I mean, and it sucks for the kids,
Mm-hmm.
but that sucks.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened
Okay,
next?
all right. Okay, um so they asked her if she would be willing to put Gabriel up for adoption, and when she said yes, Tammy, then 40, and her husband Jack Smith approached McQuarrie with custody papers and offered to pay $1,000 if he'd sign them. So Tammy Smith, who said that she thought God had sent her a baby, was later sentenced to 30 days in jail after a jury found her guilty for forgery and conspiracy to commit custodial interference.
Custodial.
So this was the lady that was trying to adopt the baby. So, and she's, well, because they're in the middle of a custody battle, Johnson and McQuarrie.
Oh.
So this lady's interfering by trying to say, look, let me just give you money for the baby, sign these papers, and I'll just take him and he's mine forever.
Okay.
Muddling the already sensational case further, McQuarrie got into legal trouble. He was charged with trafficking and stolen goods after he took a friend's weed, and he fled and then turned himself in to testify against Tammy Smith. McQuarrie and Tammy Smith are older and have paid their debts to society. Johnson will be outside of a cell for the first time in more than 4 years. So this was probably longer than 4 years ago. I don't think she's gonna turn 28. So she's not expected to give a statement. A sign, Victor says, is of more thoughtful and less of a rash woman. I saw in this article, I didn't reference it, but her attorney says that she is more mature now, and that there were a lot of things that he knew about her case that weren't brought to light in the trial, and that he says that the baby is in a much better place, that's why she did what she did to save the baby from, basically, it was kind of insinuating that maybe she might have been in an abusive situation without saying it. You know what I mean?
No. I
You
don't,
don't know what I
well,
mean?
I didn't really get anything you were saying because you were saying like a bunch of different things.
Well, no, I was saying about what the lawyer was saying.
Okay.
The lawyer said, um, so I have it right here. It's there. I was looking at it, but I can't like pinpoint it.
Okay.
All right. So the earlier Elizabeth would have stepped out of prison, said the staff.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he said
He
what
said that he
is
said.
what she did when she texted McQuarrie. She freaked out and she was just lashing out at him.
Okay.
Okay, and the woman he describes as a more mature. This is a lawyer. The woman he describes as a more mature believes Gabriel is with a very good family. Johnson would like to see her son, Victor said, so Victor's the lawyer.
Okay.
Victor said, but recognizes that it may not be in his best interests and wouldn't know where to look anyways. So she got sentenced to unlawful imprisonment, custodial interference, conspiracy to commit custodial interference, but not of kidnapping. Instead of facing 28 years behind bars, she was sentenced to 5 years, 3 months, with time served and awaiting trial and good behavior. She was freed on July 10th, 2014, but the baby's whereabouts are still a mystery to this day. And the update on her, at least, is last we heard is that she was pregnant and expecting and had moved on with her life.
Okay.
But we still don't know anything about him. All we know is that the family did put out some more press of an age progression photo of him, and that he would have been 12 years old this year.
Okay. So, is he still living in San Antonio? Maybe.
Well, he was supposedly adopted from here,
Adopted
but
is a very loose
we don't
term.
know if he was still here. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say
Like
adopted.
well, supposedly that's
I
what
would.
she called it. Supposedly,
I think it was more like you just gave it to someone. Gave him to someone.
yeah, like a I don't know, illegal adoption
I
sort of,
guess.
because the dad doesn't know. She knew, and she won't say anything. At least that's the story that she's stuck to this whole time. So I don't know. Maybe she's convinced herself that that's what she did so she can move
Will
on with her life.
Will she ever say what happened after that she served her time for it and therefore cannot go and trial for it again?
I'm pretty sure that she probably like closed the book on that and burned it and tried to get it doesn't want to talk about it anymore.
I'm pretty sure, like maybe it would. Yeah, I don't know. Let's
Cuz
see.
it's just like the what you were saying, like it sounds like with this baby at least she was she doesn't want to have any part of this baby's family, his dad's side, or anything like that. So she just wants rid of that part of her life,
Right.
and she's moved on with her life.
I yeah. I mean, there. I have heard instances. I remember there was this one case where, this person who was posing as a nurse stole another person's baby who was just born,
Mm-hmm.
and then the actual parents, they could never find her until I think 20 or some years later, the actual now grown adult baby found out that she was the person who was taken, ended up finding her actual parents, and they actually finally got reunited again.
Mm-hmm.
So it is possible maybe when this guy is like older and able to understand what happened, if he is still alive, might
Well,
come
it
back.
sounds like there's a big difference between the two. One parent knows on this end exactly what happened, and over there, that baby was just up and taken
Mm,
from the both of them, and they had no idea.
So
I saw something like that on 2020. There was a nurse had taken the baby, and it was a rough life for the little girl. And her biological parents were, she was all they had wanted. So they were okay. She would have grown up in a completely different lifestyle if she would have been with her parents. She met her parents and everything like that, but it was like, this is not my mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like the kidnapper was the person that she was like, this is my mom. This is my mom. I want to be with my mom. I don't know, because that's the lady that raised her.
mm,
And that's crazy
that kind of stinks.
that does think, right?
Yeah. So she's gonna. You think she's gonna take that information to the grave?
I think so. It's either she was really being truthful at the beginning and she really did do something bad, or she really did place this baby in somebody else's care and said, never contact me again, leave me alone, I don't want to hear about it. You hear about this case, you just ignore it. So if this kid puts his DNA in the online looking for family and stuff, he might get a hit
Mm-hmm.
if he's
Yeah.
out there alive.
Yeah. All you got to do is just put in your thing into 23andMe, and then game over.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And then she might also just not remember because it was like just two random, like just a random couple, right?
Yes, yeah.
So she'll
I don't
probably
know.
not even
I
know
don't know.
who they are. She probably won't even remember how they look like.
Which is
Um.
probably better for her, right?
Uh,
In her mind. The less I know, the better. Go.
yeah.
Get out
All.
of my face.
Mm-hmm. Nice smile. Okay. Well, that was a
The
really.
picture smile, right?
Huh? What are you doing?
For pictures. All the damn kids, they're all.
Okay.
Why do you smile like that? Stop it.
Okay. Is that a okay? That's a really interesting case, Jessica.
It's an insane, crazy case.
Mm-hmm.
It's ugly,
Hmm.
but hey, man.
Yeah. So let me tell you another case that also has to do with a kid.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the
Yeah.
this is the disappearance of Kyron Richard Horman, so, who was an American boy who disappeared from Skyline Elementary School in Portland on June 4th, 2010, after attending a science fair. So let's get started. So Horman was born on September 9th, 2002 in Portland to Desiree Young and Kane Horman, an engineer for Intel. So Desiree and Kane Horman divorced 8 months into her pregnancy with Kyron, with Desiree citing irreconcilable differences. So the two had been granted shared custody of Kyron until 2004, but when Desiree was diagnosed with kidney failure, that required extensive medical intervention. Kane took over full custody. Notwithstanding this fact, Desiree still remained an active part of Kyron's upbringing. So, in 2007, Kane married Terry Moulton, a substitute teacher originally from Roseburg, Oregon. Kane became romantically involved with Terry around 2001 when he and Desiree were in the midst of divorcing. So Kane and Terry married in 2007 while in Kauai. In December 2008, Terry gave birth to a daughter, Clara. Meanwhile, Kyron was a student at Skyline Elementary School near Forest Park. So that's your little background of what the family is like. Yep. Yep. Divorced parents. Father already remarried, but they divorced before he was even born, so it's not that big of a deal. And mother has a terminal illness. So let's see how it goes. So in on June 4th, 2010, Kyron was taken to school by his stepmother Terry, who then stayed with him while he attended a science fair. Terry stated that she left the school at around 8:45 a.m. and that she last remembered seeing Kyron walking down the hall to his first class. However, he was never seen at his first class, a math class, and was instead marked as absent that day. So Terry's statements to the police indicate that after leaving school at 8:45 a.m., she ran errands at two different Fred Meyer grocery stores until about 10:10 a.m. Between then and 11:39 a.m., Terry stated that she was driving her daughter around town in an attempt to use the motion of the vehicle to soothe her toddler's earache. Terry said that when she went to that she then went to a local gym, worked out until around 12:40 p.m. By 1:21 p.m., she arrived home and posted photos of Kyron at the science fair on Facebook. At 3:30 p.m., Terry and her husband Kane walked with their daughter and Clara to the bus stop to meet Kyron. The bus driver told them that the boy had not boarded the bus after school. However, and and to call the school to ask his whereabouts. Terry did so, only to be informed by the school secretary that as far as anyone there knew, Kyron had not been at school since early that day, and that he had accordingly been marked absent. Realizing then that the boy was missing, the secretary dialed 911. So what are you thinking?
That's crazy. Just when was this? What year was this?
2010?
Oh, this is not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Scary.
Yeah, and so something happened between the science fair and his first class when he was walking down the hall to that first class. Something happened there.
You know what's crazy? When Caden was in elementary school, if you didn't answer the phone after the second ring, after they took attendance in the class for the first class, well, it was elementary, so it was kind of a same class all day. They would send somebody to the house. They would send somebody to go. Is Caden here? Is Caden here?
It's a bit intense.
Every single time, and it was really annoying. But I mean, I get it. I mean, look at this right here. What we're listening to right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They just wanted to make sure that the kid was okay, and that's the way it was for all the elementary kids.
Okay. To actually have someone physically come to your house.
Mm-hmm. And then leave a note. Came by, call the school, please.
You couldn't have just called you on your phone?
I would call them. Yeah, but my phone, because it doesn't show up as the elementary school, it would show up as like some 1-800 number, and so my phone like automatically blocks those numbers. And I didn't know that it would show up like that, and so
you should probably
I had to fix that.
You should probably like have saved it as elementary school, and then it wouldn't have, and then it wouldn't do that.
I had to figure out which freaking number it was first, and then I had to call them to let them know, hey, look, he's in school, like he's in class, but it's just that he was getting there late because of me. I was getting him there like a little bit late, and the teacher would send in the attendance before he would get there, or like he would probably had just been walking into class and she had already sent in the attendance. Like, you don't even call and check and make sure that he's not there. Like, he's literally sitting in class right now and you're calling me and bothering me.
I don't know. You gotta be super careful, otherwise some stuff like this would happen.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so something happened between this class and the science fair?
The science fair and the first class, the math class.
Okay.
So, the search efforts for Kyron were extensive and primarily focused on a 2-mile radius around Skyline Elementary and Salvi Island, approximately 6 miles away. Law enforcement did not disclose their reasons for searching the area where they did, which included a search of the Salvi Island Bridge. On June 9th, 2010, the Horman family, who had initially refused to speak with the media, released a statement to the press. All right, so here's the statement.
Okay.
Kyron's family would like to thank people for support and interest in finding their son. The outpouring support and continued effort strengthens their hope. We need for folks to continue to assist us in our goal. Please search your properties, cars, outbuildings, sheds, etc. Also check with neighbors and friends who may be on vacation or may need an assistance in searching. There are a lot of resources here to help you search. So please don't stop. It's obviously a difficult time and they want to speak to the public so you can hear it from Kyron's family as they come together to share their message. Their objective is to keep the focus on Kyron and not about anything else. On June 12th, around 300 trained rescuers were on the ground searching wooded areas near Skyline Elementary. The search for Kyron, which spanned over 10 days, was the largest in Oregon history and included over 1,300 searchers from Oregon, Washington, and California. A reward posted for information leading to the discovery of Kyron, which was initially $25,000, expanded to $50,000 in late July 2010. So they're looking for him. They're looking for him pretty big. They gave him like a $50,000 reward. So
that's a lot.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to have like a big, like a rational fear of being like abducted or or something like that, or disappearing.
Why would you fear that?
What do you mean? Why would you fear that? Oh,
Like, who is telling you somebody's gonna take you?
Don't
No.
don't
You know
say it
what?
like it's irrational.
I know who told you that.
Huh? What do you mean you know who told me that? Who told me that?
It's probably your mom. Be careful.
I don't know. Maybe I don't remember.
Yeah. You know, dear.
So, in June 2010, in the midst of the investigation into Kyron's disappearance, Kane Horman was reportedly told by investigators that Terry had offered their landscaper, Rodolfo Sanchez, a lot of money to kill her husband.
Somebody was
Anything?
offered a lot of money to kill her husband.
Anything? Her landscaper.
Her landscaper, what? You have to repeat that last bit.
Oh my goodness. So in late June 10th, June 2010, in the midst of the investigation into Kyron's disappearance, Kane Horman was reportedly told by investigators that Terry had offered their landscaper, Rodolfo Sanchez, a lot of money to kill her husband.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry. I had distractions.
So what do you think about that?
No, that's fucked up.
So Sanchez testified.
Up.
So Sanchez testified in a deposition that Terry approached him to help kill her husband in January 2010, 5 months before Kyron's disappearance. But when Terry's attorney, Stephen House, asked if Terry asked him to kill her husband, she said no. I mean, like, obviously. So
Right. She's gonna be like, well, yeah, but like, my kid.
yeah. Well, it wasn't her kid. It was her stepkid.
Oh.
So why would she want to hire a hitman to kill her husband? I thought they were going great. I thought everything was going great.
I have no idea.
So
maybe she's okay. So like this kid is this like his kid?
this is Kane's kid.
Okay, so hear me out. So what if like she's trying to get rid of the dude and the kid and like to get the insurance money?
Were they insured?
Just saying. We don't know that. Maybe they were. Hey man.
Your argument falls apart if they weren't insured.
Well,
and
let's just assume that they were.
Who would insure like a kid?
Married. I do, in case something happens, like accidents and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they did that. I thought it was only for like guys, like adults.
Like guys.
Only dudes. No girls allowed. So anyway, investigators convinced Sanchez to confront Terry while wearing a wire, but they were unable to obtain any evidence and could not make an arrest. On June 28th, Kane filed for divorce and obtained a restraining order against Terry. The divorce was granted, and Terry was eventually granted supervised visitation with her daughter. Mm-hmm.
Oh, they have a daughter.
Yeah, they had a daughter together, which was Kyron's half sister. So during this,
it's like all my kids.
Okay. So
they're brother and sister. End of story.
During this time, Terry failed 2 separate polygraph examinations regarding Kyron's disappearance. In August 2010, it was announced that law enforcement were searching for an individual allegedly seen by 2 witnesses sitting inside Terry's truck outside Skyline Elementary the day after Kyron's disappearance. Bruce McCain, a former sheriff for the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, told CBS News the identity of that second person, if he or she existed, would be critical in determining what happened to Kyron after 9 a.m. on June 4th. So, apparently there was like this... apparently there was these... somebody was sitting in Terry's car, according to these 2 witnesses, maybe. So, meanwhile, on July 10th, July 2010, Multnomah County grand jury subpoenaed several friends of Terry Horman, including Dee Dee Spitcher, whom Young and Kane Horman described as having been in close communication with Terry and providing Terry with support and advice that is not in the best interests of our son. So, according to law enforcement, Speicher was extremely cooperative and allowed a search of her property and car, as well as enduring 3 hours worth of questioning from detectives. On the day of Kyron's disappearance, Speicher abruptly left her work gardening for a homeowner at their residence at Germantown Road in northwest Portland around 11:30 a.m. and returned around 90 minutes later. She also allegedly helped Terry purchase an untraceable cell phone. During this time, Speicher told journalists, "There's this horror that my friend is going through. If I thought for a second that she was capable of foul play, I would not have been there. She would not have been my friend in the first place." So what do you think? You think the Speicher person had something to do with it?
Man, I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay. So in early August 2010, both Young and Kane were subpoenaed and testified during a grand jury, as well as the school principal of Skyline Elementary. In December 2010, it was reported by the Oregonian that the grand jury had yet to provide compelling evidence yielding a potential indictment. By November 29, 2010, search efforts in Kyron's case had cost an estimated $1.4 million, according to county commissioners, and yielded 4,257 tips. In May 2017, it was reported by KGW that a secret grand jury panel continued to hear evidence in Kyron's disappearance and had convened in multiple occasions. During the report, Kyron's case was described as still active and ongoing. 2 months later, on July 2017, law enforcement conducted further searches along Skyline Boulevard, but the searches yielded no results. On June 2018, Horman's mother, Desiree, posted on the official Find Kyron Horman Facebook page, "Stay tuned, something big is coming. I promise you." What does that mean?
What a weirdo.
What do you mean, what a weirdo?
I don't know. What's coming? What's big?
I don't know, man.
That was 2018.
This is 2017. Oh, yeah, this is 2018. Okay, so on June 1st, 2012, Kyron's mother, Desiree Young, filed a civil lawsuit against Terry claiming that she was responsible for the disappearance of Kyron. The lawsuit... Huh?
There.
What?
There it is.
What is there it is?
That's what the big thing that was coming, right?
This was in 2012. She posted that something big was coming in 2018.
What? We went back?
So the lawsuit attempted to prove that Terry had kidnapped Kyron on the day he disappeared. Young sought $10 million in damages from Horman. On August 15, 2012, a federal court judge denied a motion by Terry to delay the lawsuit. In early October 2012, Speicher refused to answer any of the 142 questions posed during a deposition regarding Young's lawsuit. Among the questions were ones regarding Speicher's whereabouts on June 4th, 2010, and her contact with Terry that day. She also declined to identify the photo of Kyron, whether she had met him before or not, and whether she knew his father, Kane. What do you think about that? Like people who hide behind the Fifth Amendment like that?
I don't know. I kind of feel like you're admitting guilt by doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, other people would argue that she knows her rights.
Yeah, she knows her rights, but if there's nothing to hide, why not say the truth?
Odds are, she was probably most likely following legal counsel.
Probably.
From someone.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Because odds are, like, they would most likely tell you to do that. in order to avoid self-incrimination, which is what the Fifth Amendment
Mm-hmm.
was. Have you ever watched The Irishman?
Yes, I have.
Remember that one scene where was it The Irishman or was it
Yeah, it
Goodfellas?
was.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about? What am
Yes.
I talking about?
That's exactly what he said the entire time he was in trial,
I
right?
cannot. I can neither confirm nor deny. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
assert my Fifth Amendment
Mm-hmm.
rights and not do it.
Yeah.
And the lawyer
So that's
said,
what I'm saying. Like, if there was any way the lawyers thought that she may incriminate herself, which to me says that there's something not right in any part of this story, somewhere in this story, that the lawyers knew that something was not right. But in order for them to avoid any of that, say this and you should be fine
mm-hmm,
for now.
"Yeah, um, yeah." I mean, eventually, like it won't work. Eventually, once you're like
Mm-hmm.
actually in trial on trial, then it won't be able to work that way. But
Because they get tired of that. They're
for
like,
this
are you
stuff,
just going to say that the whole time?
yeah, it's fine. Like at this point in time, yeah. I remember in The Irishman when the prosecutor asked him, what kind of color pen am I holding?" And then he was like, "Oh, you know, they confirmed blah, blah, blah." I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
So during testimony provided by Kyron Horman on a separate hearing the same year, he stated that police had told him they have more probable cause to think Terry Horman was involved in Kyron's disappearance than they did 2 years ago. On July 30th, 2013, it was announced that Young had dropped the lawsuit against Terry so as to not interfere with the ongoing police investigation. So, Terry Horman appeared as a guest on Dr. Phil in 2016. Oh no. During which he told Dr. Phil, what?
She went on Dr. Phil.
Yeah, in 2016, yeah.
God.
I
Anyways,
I am not a fan of Dr. Phil. Let's just say that.
I'm not either.
Really?
I'm
Why?
not
Why
either.
not?
He's just some random dude that's just I don't care for it. It's just he brings people on the show just to see them like argue with each other, and he says what he needs to say, and it's doesn't nothing gets resolved.
Yeah,
It's just dumb.
they just basically brings in mentally ill or like disturbed people, and then you just
Yeah.
laugh. They just laugh at them, and whenever they call him out on it, he gets super defensive. Like, "Oh, I'm trying to help you." Like, "Oh, how dare you?"
Yeah, and a lot of the people he brings on the show are, like you said, like not in a good place mentally, or they're just really bad apples, like really bad apples.
Mm,
And so to expect anything less than disrespect and stuff like that, and then he wants to act like you will not talk to me like that here, kind of like that, and
mm,
it's not gonna work. If if they're not gonna have respect for their parents or the people around them, then what makes you think just because you're Dr. Phil that they're gonna treat you any different?
mm.
I don't like it. I've tried, but hmm, I will say though, when we went to I think it Warner Brothers Studios?
Mm-hmm.
They gave us a tour of his studios, so that was a little surreal to be in the actual
Yeah.
studio where they
Yeah.
film it, and I just so happened to sit in the chair that his wife always sits in. I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is where Mrs. Phil sits."
I'm pretty sure her
It's
name
Miss
isn't
McGrath,
Miss.
right?
It's Miss McGraw, but yeah,
But anyway, so yeah,
yeah. And I mean, there are people
I don't
who
like the show
like.
though.
I mean, Bad Baby was able to take that and monetize it
Shit,
really
yeah, I know
well.
for real. Like I watched that and she disgusted me. Like she still does. And the fact that she was able to use that to her advantage, I will say she did good by paying off her mom's house and taking care of her mom, which is the complete opposite of the way she was on the show.
She
She
was
was
13 at the time. I mean,
yeah, so
she's growing
she's what,
up.
12, like
She's
15
18
now.
now. She's 18. What?
I said she was 15.
No, she's 18 now. But
She's 18 now, but still.
she hates Dr. Phil like with a passion. She hates him, and I don't blame her.
I don't
Cause
blame her either. She exploited. I mean, I don't know about exploited her, but they didn't have to go on the show. That was the mom that wanted to be on the show. She was bad though. Oh, the way she would talk to her mom, you just want to reach to the fucking TV and.
yeah, but
Dude,
what they did to
letdown.
her afterwards, I don't think it was deserved. They sent her off to some kind of heavily disciplined camp that they would just do borderline abusive, torturous stuff to children.
Why would they send anybody there? Why would a place like that still like be okay to run?
I don't know, man. That's where they did, and
It's
she's
kind of like that school that Paris Hilton is trying to get shut down.
mm,
You hear about
no, I
that?
didn't hear about that.
Yeah, when she was younger, like she was going through some stuff and her parents didn't like the way she was acting out and they this is on my like summarization of what really happened. Uh the way she says it is like these men came in and they took her out of her bed in the house and she remembers seeing her mom as they took her out of the house and her mom just kind of just like looked away because the mom was the one that called for them to come take her to this boarding school. Well, in the boarding school, boarding schools, you just got to live there
Hmm.
until it's time for you to go home. She claims that they were abusive, just like this place that you're saying is a place to go for bad kids
Hmm.
to
Yeah,
teach them how to act right.
yeah. And she has like gone on record talking about the things that she experienced in this area,
Mhm.
in that, and so yeah, I did briefly talk to her, like very briefly. Um,
Who?
Bad Baby.
You?
Mm-hmm.
How?
On through DMs, just very briefly.
What?
Yeah, I just said, hey, I'm digging your music. It's pretty cool. And then she was like, thanks. That was it.
Yeah, that was a whole conversation. That's nice.
Yeah, I only talked to her like I just said very briefly. It wasn't really a conversation. It was just a little interaction.
Okay.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah, impressed.
Not at all.
No. Anyway, it's whatever. So we kind of went off on a tangent there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I
All right.
digress.
No, it's because the lady went on Dr. Phil. So
Mm.
back, she's on Dr. Phil show.
She's on Dr. Phil. She told Dr. Phil, I was advised from the beginning by law enforcement, by my husband at the time, by attorneys in the beginning, not to say anything. I've always wanted to. I've asked multiple times to speak out and have not been allowed. She denied having any involvement in Kyron's disappearance and also stated her belief that he was kidnapped, adding, there was a man in a white pickup truck, Ford, parked on Highway 30 at the 7-Eleven, which is not near the school. He was acting very strangely and he was addressed by one of the employees because he had been pacing back and forth in front of the 7-Eleven for about an hour. Boy Missing, written by Rebecca Morris, was released in May 2020. The book claims Chiron's regular bus driver, a classmate, and two of the classmates' family members witnessed Chiron walk through the school parking lot with Terry Herman and her infant daughter on June 4th, 2010. Banished from School, Season 2, Episode 2 of the television show Real Life Nightmare on Discovery ID explores the case, and the episode aired on November 15th, 2020. So, according to this book, it claims that the bus driver, a classmates, and two of the parents saw Terry take Chiron out of the school across the parking lot
Hmm.
that day on June 4th. So, what are you thinking? Terry has something to do with it?
Uh, why would four people that don't know each other, well, we can assume they don't know each other,
Yeah.
have the same witness accounts?
Mm. How come we only figured this out like 10 years after? Well, then again, it was an active investigation, so they don't put a lot of stuff publicly like that.
Yeah.
And there was never a
Hmm.
trial. So, yeah, stuff like that. So, yeah, he disappeared. No one knows where he is.
So so poof.
Yeah,
Wow.
if Terry, I mean, this wasn't an infant like in yours what yours says.
Hmm.
This was an 8 year old boy. This was an 8 year old boy, and it's a lot harder to hide. So
Yeah.
when you're 8 years old, you should be able to like you have like some kind of cognitive sense within you to tell that something might not be right.
Right. But if this is his stepmother and she says, we're going to go on a trip, but we're going to go away for a little bit as a kid that thinks that this is his stepmom and this is we're with our baby sister, then okay, let's go.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
maybe, yeah.
Well, as
With
I mean, as an 8-year-old,
no
especially if you're
questions,
told we're gonna go somewhere, it's a surprise. Let's go.
no questions
It's like,
asked.
okay, let's go. Where are we
Not
going?
not yeah. Where are we going? Where's like what is Dad coming? Or like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and she could have easily been like, yeah, we'll see him there. He'll be there.
Yeah, and then
Let's go.
what do
And
they
then
do?
poof, gone.
Okay. So I know that she according to like she allegedly wanted her husband. She allegedly wanted Kane dead, her husband, but we don't know why. I don't know why, 100% why. Um, and I mean, who knows? I don't know what her motivation would be in order to like get to Kane, in order to like remove Kyron from the picture or something like that. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
So anyway, let me
I
show
don't know.
you this photograph of Kane. This was taken at the science fair, and this was like this is the last photo ever taken of him.
Okay.
There he is.
Aw, little dude. Get a
Mhm.
CSI shirt.
Mhm. Yeah, this is the last picture taken by Terry, and that
By Terry.
yeah, this was the photo that she posted on Facebook later that afternoon.
She took him.
Mhm.
She took him. She took him. What she did with him, we'll never know.
This picture alone convinced you that she took him.
She took him.
How
She took him. She did it.
how did that change? How did that seal it in your
Well,
mind?
all the people saw him walking with her, and then she took him, the picture of him, and posted it. She's the last person that everybody knows that was with him between the science fair and first class. She's the last known adult to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, Terry.
You
Not
think
looking
Terry
good
did
for
it?
you.
Okay, well,
Terry did it.
well, yeah,
We don't
well,
know why.
yeah, well, that's the disappearance of Kyron Horman. Hopefully, he'll be found. He was missing for 11 years, and unlike he's not like a baby where you can't just like pawn him off, be like, here, take care of him. He's You're his parents now, that kind of thing. Um,
No.
so
But if he was told, stay here, we'll be back, and they never came back, it's a different thing.
well, that kind of like slims down
So,
the possibility that he might be alive still, but I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. Let's just say that he's still alive. I don't like to think that any of these babies are
Like
dead.
how does he stay alive?
Somewhere far away.
Mm.
I don't know. It's harder with an 8-year-old
Yeah, I mean, because
to
he's
tell
still
him that's a different person.
yeah, because he still has a semblance of the life that he's living currently.
Yeah.
Hmm. So anyway, we'll never know. Hopefully,
Nope.
maybe something will happen one day. maybe a deathbed confession. Who knows? So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the end. That's the tale of the disappearance of Kyron Horman. Jessica, you have another one for us?
Yeah, I have one story. It's not that long because this person still is missing. So it's another article, and hopefully it's not as chopped up as the last one was. So this is the case of Pauline Diaz. Pauline Diaz. She worked at HEB, so all this happened like right after she left work. So on December 7th, 2010, which is the same year Mr. Kyron went missing.
Okay.
December 7th, 2010, 64-year-old Pauline Diaz left her workplace, which was HEB, best grocery store ever. Um, I love
You like
HEB.
AGB?
I love HEB.
Okay.
Okay, anyways. And she went to visit her estranged husband, Pedro Pete Ruiz, in San Antonio, Texas. The two had only been married since August 2008, so 8, 9, 10, 2 years. She was simply supposed to pick up a lawnmower and head home, but she was never seen again. A few days later, Pauline's truck was found on Highway 181 just down the street from Pete's home. Her purse was left inside. Her family hired a private investigator and they hypothesized that Pauline met with foul play that night at her home after returning from Pete's residence.
Right.
So it says, what is this right here? She arrived home after going to Pete's. I was surprised. Sorry, I'm just reading this one part right here. I'm not sure that it's part of the article, but I'll read it out loud. If you want to snip it out, you can.
Okay.
She arrived home after going to Pete's house, Pete Ruiz's house, and was surprised there. The shoes she wore on the day of her disappearance was found inside her home. So I don't know who she is. She arrived home after going to Pete's house. This doesn't sound like the lady that's missing. It sounds like somebody else.
Okay.
The shoes that she wore on the day of her disappearance were found inside her home, and they had sand stuck on them, similar to the sand found in Ruiz's home. Some clothes were scattered on the floor of her residence, which is uncharacteristic of Diaz, and she normally kept everything neat and clean. So, although authorities think that she may have been attacked after returning home, they still say that Pete is likely responsible. Days before her disappearance, Pauline talked to Pete about getting a divorce, and then a few days after she went missing, he inquired about her life insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
So no one has been charged in Pauline's case, and it remains unsolved. There is a $25,000 reward for information that could lead to her whereabouts or an arrest. So Rufus said, and I'm not sure who Rufus is, but Rufus Martinez said that the lack of closure on this case continues to take its toll on his wife and the rest of the family. So this is somebody that's related. And then a quote says, Pauline was a very nice person to me. She was a very wonderful person, and I'm lucky to have a mother-in-law like that. So Pauline's family says that she was a friendly yet very strong-willed person and would help anyone in need. They claim that she would never have left without telling them. The Diaz family says that they want the public to know she is still missing and they haven't forgotten about her. So this is going to be 11 years since it happened.
Yeah, it's been
in
11 years.
2010.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still looking for her. Any information on the case, contact the Bexar County Sheriff's Office or the Heidi Search Center.
Okay, so how old was she?
64 years old.
She was
So
64?
she would be 70.
Ooh.
64 years old.
So she was like an older lady.
Yeah, so they're saying that the estranged husband might have something to do with it. I didn't look further in to see if anything came about this man or anything like that. So, I mean, I don't know. They said that her house looked kind of dirty, which was not the norm for her,
Mm-hmm.
especially if she lived by herself.
And somebody was like talking about her life insurance policy.
Yeah, the dude. inquired about her life insurance policy, her estranged husband.
It's a little sketchy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about that lady. But if the ex-husband's still alive, then that kind of crosses that out.
Mm-hmm. So, when did she disappear? When she was coming home from work?
So she was, yeah, when she that was the last place anybody saw her when she left work.
Mm.
She went to her soon-to-be ex-husband's house to pick up a lawnmower, and then nobody saw her again. And then her truck was found down the road from his house with her stuff still in it. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
don't know.
I also think it's not cool for a lady that old to be still working in HEB.
Yeah, man. The the what is it called? The retiring age is like pretty much close to 70 now, and
It's
it's
70
pretty
now?
crappy. It's close to 70 where you could take your retirement, like full retirement without getting penalized.
It used to be
It's pretty bad.
it used to be 65, but I
It keeps
guess they
increasing. Like
I
every
guess
year
it's
it keeps
increased.
increasing. Like I don't understand. Why do you want people to be working till they're freaking too old to do anything or want to do anything?
Yeah. I mean there
People can't just be happy too.
I mean there are people who are I love working. I love to work, but I
Hmm.
don't know if that applies to things like HEB.
Ah, well, HEB, she looked like she liked working there. She looks
Mm,
happy.
okay.
HEB is a cool company to work for, I think.
I don't know. I
You invested in their company financially and you get grocery
I
discounts.
don't know,
And
man.
they work with people, especially people in college. They work with your schedules.
Mm, yeah, but I mean,
But
I can't like work in the in the customer service industry.
well, that's just you. A lot of other people can.
Really, a lot of other people can.
A
Really,
lot of people like it.
you like
A
it.
lot of people like it. I don't personally. I don't.
Okay, well, then why are you getting
But
at
if
me
I had
for?
to, if it was my last ditch resort, I would.
You would do customer service?
If I had to, and if it paid like probably like $10 more than I'm making now, I probably would.
Yeah, maybe. Usually, customer service jobs are like minimum wage to $10
Hmm.
an hour.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I can't. I'm so glad I'm in a job where I don't have to deal with that anymore. I
Yeah.
don't have to deal with customers. Um,
They seem to be getting worse and worse, especially now. I don't know what. Maybe people are cooped up too long in their house, and they come out and they feel like they can treat people like trash. I don't know,
mhm.
but
They'll
and
be
then they
like,
wonder why the service industry people don't want to go back to work because they don't want to be treated like shit and getting paid $2 an hour without a tip. Like
mhm.
that's why.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, like also like when during like when the height of the pandemic, when you're trying to like tell people you gotta wear a mask and you gotta do this thing, and
Mm-mm.
they'll be
It's
like,
my right.
"It's
You can't
my
tell me
right,
how to live my
you,"
right.
and then
Shut up.
and they'll be like, "I'm sorry,
Just
I
shut
can't."
up.
I'm like, "I'm sorry,
Well,
I
go
can't let you
home
come in,"
then.
and they'll be like, "What is this,
I was
Soviet
bargaining with
Russia?"
you.
And like,
Go away.
and then you'll have to call the police, and that's no fun. And then you have to file a report and do all that stuff, file an incident
Yeah.
report, and do all that
Hmm.
nonsense.
So then I got worried for the service workers when they lifted the order here in Texas, saying that it's no longer mandatory. We now leave it up to businesses to decide on their own what they want to do as far as making masks part of being able to enter their establishment. I worried for
Yep.
them because then they would be met by more people that would not want to wear a mask because they don't have to wear a mask. They're not mandated to wear one. It's not against the law to not wear one. But
Yeah, and you have to explain to them that it is still in that private establishment.
hmm.
Because most, even after the mandate was lifted, people knew that like it was way too early, and
Hmm.
so most like businesses kept their mask policies in. And one that I hear a lot of, one of the excuses I hear a lot of is like, oh, what if I have a medical exception that I can't wear a mask because of medical reasons? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
if that's true, then you should be wearing like one of those face guards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so then there, problem solved.
Yeah. Stupid people.
Hmm. And now, like now that things are starting to slow down here in America, um, things are starting, after the vaccines were pretty much rolled out for the people, like a good majority of people in America were taking them. Now businesses are starting to say that masks are no longer required for fully vaccinated people. Um, so now I'm able to just go to places without wearing a mask all the time. So
Yeah, but I'm hearing a lot of stuff about the variant starting to make the cases spike up again,
that's
and that we
yeah,
might
that's
have a rollout of maybe just another shot for the people that had the vaccine already, kind of like a booster
yeah,
towards the end of the year.
yeah. That's kind of what the flu does. That's the flu shot does. Because like the flu shot every year it mutates every year, so that's why you have to get it every year. Get the flu shot every year.
Yeah, but it's gonna be in the same year. It's like
Yeah, I
six
know,
months
but
after you got the shot.
it's in that same vein. I mean, um,
Yeah, you you can't brush it off. Um, I know that the cases are getting higher because Anthony said the cases haven't really gone down at the hospital. They seem to be getting a little bit higher with the variant coming around.
yeah, the Delta variant is
First,
starting to really hit hard.
yeah,
And
it is, but I don't know. It hasn't hit home over here
mm, it's
at
starting.
all.
Yeah,
So
it's
good
starting
thing.
to mutate more and more, mainly because even though 99% of the people who are getting the Delta variant are not vaccinated. That was really a lot of interesting cases, a lot of really mysterious stuff, a lot of interesting stuff. Do you think any of these would be solved?
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that the people that we discussed did not die of wrongdoing by other people. I'd like to think they're just out there living their lives. Not their best lives, but just out there living.
Out there living?
Yeah.
I think the one that you said, the first one that you said, was has the highest chance of being solved. If the person,
I hope so.
if the kid is still alive and is able and grows up to recognize what happened.
Because he was
So,
so little. He was only 8 months old or 9 months old when he
mm-hmm,
was supposedly given up.
mm-hmm. And he
Supposedly.
should be 12 right now, right? If he's still alive.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
let's let's continue on with that. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed. Um, yeah. So that's mysterious disappearances. I've been Nathaniel
Terrible.
Avila.
And I've been Jessica Vega.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Vision podcast, home of wacky talkies, The Kingdom, Evil Exists, and many more.